Many CEOs will face a changing environment in 2025. Brian Niccol is going to be looking to replicate his successful Chipotle playbook at Starbucks. Same with new CEOs at Nike, Boeing, and Intel. Joining us right now is Jeff Sonnenfeld, Yale School of Management Senior Associate Dean for Leadership Studies. Professor, get your grade book out, because I want you to give some grades, or at least some predictions. You know these students. You know these students in your class. And the question is, how well are they going to pull it off by the end of the semester next year? If you're back here, are you going to be looking at these names and these students and saying they got an A+, or you think you're going to be giving them an F?
Well, why don't we try a Kramer lightning round? Throw at me whoever you want. Did you want to start with Starbucks, Andrew?
We'll go Brian Niccol first. Brian Niccol first.
Well, Brian Niccol, I think you teed it up exactly right. He has a fantastic track record of turning around way back at Yum Brands, as he turned around Taco Bell that had some disasters before he fixed them in safety, product safety and employee morale and things, and of course customer trust. Then he repeated it many times over at Chipotle. Now coming into Starbucks, it hasn't been easy. The stock is up 19%. Since he's been there, which is sort of, encouraging, but they've mishandled new brands. They've had promotion problems. They've got a labor situation. They've got 170 cafes. I think it's about 5% of their workforce is unionized, and they're talking about maybe shuttering 300 cafes. But he has a way of empowering workers. He's really cutting the speed. He wants to have your delivery done in 4 minutes after order, and he's dealing with the mobile apps very well. He's excellent on AI back before at Chipotle, but it's his employee-centric focus. I think it's going to make a big difference. And he's also looking at the in-store experience in the cafes and much more comfortable settings in there. So I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful in Brian Niccol. Who's next?
Okay, let's go Boeing. Is that a fixable proposition?
Sure. Not so hopeful there. I'm actually kind of surprised that they picked Kelly Ortberg. Just between us, and nobody has ever mentioned
just
this.
Between us, I'm glad that we're. Yeah, it's good.
Intimate.
It's good. It's intimate.
It's
I like
intimate.
it. I like that.
Well,
I'm going to use that line.
I always tell you my secrets, and that's what he had been the CEO of course, Rockwell Collins, who created the MCAS that seemed to share some responsibility for the disasters that took place with those horrible crashes on the Max and the 747 Max. But they've got a humongous backlog there. They've got over 1,000 planes are backlogged. They've got giant issues before them with of course labor situations. They lost 8 weeks of production. The FAA, Whitaker, who will be leaving soon, has given them some encouragement, so that some good news there. In just 2 weeks ago, they got cleared to resume all of their production, but it's actually I think 4,200 planes that they're behind on. Just on the 737 Maxes and another 1,000. So they've got a lot to make up. They just produced about 13 jets in November, which was way less than a quarter of what they did even last year. And last year they did about 56 last year, and that was not such a great year for them. And the Starliner fiasco, it's a human concern, of course, with 2 astronauts stranded for 9 months up there to be saved by SpaceX. But what a symbolic black eye it is too for Boeing. So they've got a lot to work on, and I guess they'll have the Spirit merger hopefully take place. I think they vote on that in January at Spirit Aerosystems.
Okay, here's a harder one.
Should never have happened. It's the
I'll give you a harder one. You're fading in and out. Not your views, of course, but the technology. So here's the question for you, though. Talking about technology. Intel. Pat Gelsinger is out. Is Intel a fixable proposition? There's been talk about whether they should merge with another chip company, whether the U.S. government has either given them too much money, too little money to try to create chips in the United States that could compete with NVIDIA and the like. What do you do?
I am probably the only one watching this show, and I'm watching it on my little computer here, who actually was a fan of Pat Gelsinger. The stock, admittedly, was down 57% this past year. That is a hard one, and I think it was he spent decades inside Intel, before going off to run VMware. You would think he was the perfect candidate to run it. Andy Grove, who I knew personally very well, saw him as a protege. Andy Grove, the great patriarch and one of the co-founders of Intel, Pat was terrific, a very spiritual, very principled person, but a great engineer and a decent human being. And I actually blame as you know, I'm often a fan of different parts of the Biden administration. I think Treasury was way too slow in clearing what he needed. There's a very patriotic mission he had to bring this production, this fabrication back to the U.S. so we aren't so dependent on China and Asia for the production of virtually all of our chips. And that is really a shame. It's about $11 billion, I think, that he was owed, which in direct grants that would have made a big difference. But 95% of what was in the CHIPS Act, I believe, didn't clear yet. Just all the bureaucracy. Right. So I think he got a raw deal, but the performance is what it is. And right now we can't say too much because we have two interim people in there. We have the CFO who's very good, and we have a product manager in there who's very good. And they're kind of I'm not a big fan of the other than in crisis and transitional times, the co-CEO situation, Andrew. So that's what they have there. So we have a wait and see on Intel. I hope they make it independently.
Give me a surprise for 2025. Meaning, is there something that you think everyone doesn't think is going to happen that actually is in terms of the corporate governance world?
Well, too close to home, but I really think a bad news situation is what David Zaslow has with Warner Brothers Discovery. Is we have this newly announced spinoff just weeks ago. The separation of streaming and films, and then the linear television. It's a little bit different from our friends, our brethren at the parent company of Comcast, how they're putting together the split. But it's down about 9%, and that's really problematic. And it's ironically, it's some of the cable businesses that are dragging it down, and to try to sell that now into somebody else's hands with the Comcast deal out there, which you know so much about. But you also have Paramount is somewhat re-energized. You actually have other holdings. You have Liberty Media itself being spun out, and there's it's going to be crowded space to see how that works and what kind of a price they would get, and the internal confusion with that, I think, is going to be problematic. So I think that would be, I'd be surprised if that one works well.